to being a parent, when it comes to being a mother, is that I'm doing enough. And I want you to know, if you are a good parent, of course, you are doing enough. I want to have this conversation because I've always wanted to have this conversation, but I'm finally being consistent with using my YouTube channel. When the holiday comes, why, I want you to ask yourself, why do you feel pressured, or why do you feel an urge to go out of your way every holiday season to purchase items for your children? I just want to know that. Okay? You got some, call me a bad mama, but let me tell you how I feel. I back when I used to work a job, and it was a very low paying job. um let me guess. I got some notes and I'm still not prepared. I've been a struggling mom, and I'm in a position where I don't have that. I've been a single mom. I've been, in married, raising kids, and my mindset is this. And some people, we have to rewire what we call a mother's love. I see so many women, especially, work so hard to get Christmas gifts. I remember working a very low paying job, and several women taking on extra hours because they wanted to purchase their kids more Christmas gifts. Now, I would see if it was just a few Christmas gifts, but I'm talking about, how the whole Christmas tree is just filled up. And it's their business, whatever, but at the end of the video, you're going to see where I'm going. You're going to see where I'm going. But I seen those women work so hard to provide Christmas gifts for their kids. And I understand the logic. You want to make your children smile. You don't want them to feel left out. You're doing whatever, to make them feel the Christmas spirit and the holiday spirit. I understand. I get that. But just hear me out for a minute, because we really need to change our perspective. And I'm also going to tie this in when it comes to financial stability, right? So, the reason why a lot of parents, especially moms, work all these hours and go out of their way to give Christmas gifts is because of mom guilt. And that mom guilt is coming from social media and what other people are doing for their kids. And it makes them feel inadequate for not providing a certain amount of, thank you so much. It makes them feel inadequate as a parent when they do not provide a certain amount of gifts, because everybody wants to be able to, um don't nobody want to leave their kids out. Don't nobody want to, like, make their children feel as if, they're going without. And also, it kind of feeds the parent's ego. And I know a lot of people, it's not going to resonate. This is not going to resonate with a lot of people. I get it. It's not going to resonate with a lot of people. But listen, I got some points. If you are really, really, really trying to get to a point in your life where you have some type of financial stability, you're going to have to change your mindset. Okay? And I'm going to be honest, children, buying children what they don't need, it's keeping you broke. It's keeping you broke. It's keeping you in this cycle of struggling because you do not have boundaries when it comes to your kids. And you feel depleted, you feel tired, you feel not valued, you feel empty because you're constantly giving your kids things when they don't need nothing. In actuality, you need something. Okay? And the reason I'm speaking about this is because I've been a mom since I was 16 years old. I'm now 33. I'll be 34 in a few more months. My son will be 17 in a few more months. And one thing I've learned is that when I was a single mother raising my son, um, I raised him by myself up until he was 5. When I was a single mom raising my son, I spoiled him so much. Name brand shoes, name brand clothes, multiple shoes, multiple clothes. Like I got pictures. I got a photo album with all the clothes he had at the time. He was born in 2008, so at the time, Coogee, Ed Hardy, Rockaware, of course, Nike, Jordan, academics, what else was popular? Polo. Like my son had it all at a very young age. Every pair of Jordan that came out, I was one of those parents. So if this sounds like you, just hear me out. Just listen. Just listen. Just listen to me. And I remember Christmas. I was definitely one of those parents. I'm finna work overtime. I'm finna pick up a part-time job just to give my son a lot of Christmas gifts. I was able to realize at an early age that this is keeping me broke, and this is creating a monster in my child because he's going to always expect a lot and he's not going to appreciate. And I'm just overdoing it. He doesn't need 15 Christmas gifts. He just simply does not. And then as parents, just observe. The thing for me was, I'm like, okay, I'm buying all these toys. The next day, over the next days, they missing, they broke apart. You can't find them. It's missing parts to it. And that was like the final straw for me. I'm like, I'm not finna buy all these Christmas gifts no more. Like, I worked hard. I need some shoes. I need some clothes. I missed out on getting my nails done or buying something nice for myself because I'm trying to buy stuff for him. So I realized at an early age with raising my son that I'm not going to keep on doing this because it's not doing nothing but keeping me broke. I'm up here working hard when I should be resting. At this time, I was a college student and I was working and staying by myself, paying all my bills, you know what I'm saying, by myself, no help. I'm like, this is keeping me broke. And this is creating this monster type behavior in my son. And I just remember just having that struggle of feeling guilty around the holidays. Like, dang, I'm really not finna buy him all them toys and shoes and stuff no more. Feeling really guilty, but I stuck to my boundaries. And now my son, as he got older, I would say like 12, 13, he started getting to an age where he knew what time it was. He couldn't ask for a lot of stuff. Cause he knew. And then it's like you have to really start earning those things. So why do we? I'm not even gonna get into that. That's a whole nother subject. And it's been times where definitely I'm not gonna act perfect, where I have been guilty and gave in and bought some things and stuff like that. But it did not hurt me. It didn't hurt me. But that mindset of breaking my back, going broke, just so I can give my child something, that mindset is long gone. And so about the time I had my second child, I knew not to do that. Um, you know, my having my second son, this I didn't go out buying a whole lot of clothes and shoes, and I didn't buy all this stuff. I learned my lesson with my first son. So I just want to tell mothers that, like, this is something that I learned as a young mother and somebody who has been a mom for 17 years. These are things I learned. So I just want to say, your child doesn't need anything else. You need things. And if you are in a situation where you know you are struggling, if you're going to be working overtime, you need to be working overtime to get ahead. Pay for credit repair. Put the money in the savings. Invest. Pay some bills up. Eliminate some bills. Like, that's what you should be doing. Why do we work overtime just to buy toys? And honestly, why do we feel a need to buy an Xbox, a scooter, a bike, um, a cell phone, toothbrush? What? Listen to that. Why do we buy all of, like, those are big items? Seriously, buying all of that. I remember one Christmas, my son didn't have an iPhone until he was, I think, 12 or 13, and he had like a regular Walmart phone. And I want to say my son was 12 or 13. I really think he was 13 when I finally got him a iPhone. And it was not a new iPhone, it was like an older iPhone. And he was so appreciative for that because he had finally got an iPhone. You know, the kids love Apple, honey. They just love it. So he had finally had an iPhone. But it took him a while. Like, why do we feel a need to get, and hey, it's your business, what you do with your kids. But don't be around here complaining, talking about you struggling and you can't keep up with bills and that you tired and that you work so hard and you tired of doing it alone. You are creating this problem. You're constantly feeding this beast. Our kids do not need all this stuff. So I just want to give a few tips now that I set the tone. Now that I set the tone, like I said, if it don't apply, let it fly. If it ain't hurting you, it's okay. If you still got that mindset of I'm gonna give my kids the world, cause I didn't have it when I was little, I want to spoil them. That's you. You don't even. You probably off of the video by now. But for the ones who are really trying to change their mindset and come into financial abundance and trying to create, who is walking into a space where you're trying to create generational wealth and teach your children about finances, listen, because I did it. I got to this point. So one of the things that I would tell you is to have boundaries. Have boundaries. So, and I'm not just talking about when it comes to money. If you are a mother who is tired, I remember it used to be days where I would, man, take my son to the park, let him be outside at the park for like 2 hours. Then we would go skating. And then I'll go get him some ice cream and some pizza. And my son still, and it wasn't like, this was like on the weekends or something. And my son would still want more time with me. But it's like, I would feel so guilty, but I had to get to a point where it's like, okay, Amarian, I spent time with you. Um, I fed you. We joked. We laughed. We had fun. Let mama have her time now, okay? Let me just, have some time for myself. I'ma give me a few hours. I cannot tell you how many conversations I done had with family members, with friends, women in general. Like, I remember I was out at this. Let me finish my point. I It's so many women who feel guilty for having boundaries. When you know that you have poured into your children, when you have given them time, when you have made them feel loved, when you spent time with them, you should not be feeling guilty for telling your kids, hey, give mama a little space right now. Like, mama gonna watch a movie and take her a bath. Just, and then I'll come back to you. You should not feel guilty. One time I was out to eat and a woman, she, we was talking and we was at the bar and she started talking about how, she ordered a dessert. And she was like, yeah, I'm gonna just save the rest of this dessert for my kids. I really enjoyed this, but I'm gonna get the rest of my kids. And I was like, you need to eat that for yourself. Your kids is good. I'm sure your kids got all the snacks because I've been there. I've been the one at the grocery store and you just have a budget or I've been there. It's like, get this for my kids or me. And I would choose my kids. The kids are good, mama. They good. But what about you? What about you? You working. You dealing with stress at work. You paying bills. You cleaning up. And if you're doing alone, that's more on you. You need that moment where you can just sit in your room and eat your ice cream in peace with nobody begging. You don't have to get them kids nothing. My mama told me it was a candy bar that my grandma used to eat. And I think she said, I can't remember the story, but I admired what my grandma did. But my mama said something about like my grandma, and my grandma had, with 6 kids. My grandma would be to herself in her room eating a candy bar or something, and my mama like was the greedy one, and my grandma would give her a piece, or sometimes she'll tell her no or something like that. But we have to say no. We those little moments can fuel us and charge us up. Just being alone, eating that little candy bar, honey. Being alone in a tub, no kid, like, have boundaries, because what's going to happen is you're going to wear yourself out. And if you are single, you definitely need to create those boundaries, so that when you date, it's easy for that child to not be all attached and jealous. You need to create those healthy boundaries. As long as you are pouring into your kids, you're spending quality time with them, intimate quality time with them, you should not be feeling guilty. Another thing, say no. Say no. If you do something with your children, say for instance you work Monday through Friday, right? And you do something with your kids every single weekend. And you decide one weekend you just want to stay home. You just want to stay home. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't driving no car. You ain't finna do nothing. We ain't finna go nowhere. It's okay to say no. What's gonna happen is you gonna burn yourself out. That's why it's you gonna burn yourself out. I ain't even gonna get into appearance and stuff like that, but we have got to say no, and we've got to set boundaries so that we can be healthy, look healthy, feel healthy, and and be able to receive receive help. It's a type when we try to do everything on our own and be superwoman and overdo stuff, it creates a type of energy in us, and the universe understands that energy, and this is where it's gonna be hard to attract or receive, or if you do attract, it's gonna be hard for you to receive a certain type of support or energy. I'm gonna just say it. When you are operating as superwoman, and sometimes we have to, I get it, but let me I'm trying to get my words right, because I don't want to sound insensitive, because I've definitely been there. But I was able to quickly recognize this energy within myself, and I was able to secure a relationship. I wasn't even looking for one at the age of 21 years old, and I have been with my husband. Like I said, I'm 33. It's been 12 going on 13 years. I started releasing certain energy. I'm not finna overwork. I'm not finna overdo. I'm not finna be superwoman. I let that go. Just super independent. It when you have that hyper independence attitude, I'm telling you, it it it's a certain smell on you. You can just see it in certain conversations. It come up because you don't practice boundaries. You don't practice putting yourself first. You don't practice saying no. And it's just some women out here that's probably gonna not receive this, because they're gonna be like, because they gonna be feeling like, oh, my kid's gonna always feel first. We know in certain situations, of course, your kid's gonna have to come first. But honey, I'm talking about in situations where you are depleted, you gonna have to put first. You gonna have to put yourself first. Going back to the weekends, every single weekend, let's say for a month straight, you done took your kids everywhere. Y'all done did a road trip. Y'all went to Chuck E. Cheese the next weekend. The next weekend, y'all went bowling to the skating alley. The next weekend, y'all went to an arcade. The fifth weekend come out, your kids like, Mom, where we going this weekend? Where we going this weekend? You should not feel guilty by saying, baby, Mama just want to rest. We can have a day where we can make homemade pizzas and make slushies and watch a movie, but Mama gonna stay in the house and Mama go get some rest. You should not feel guilty for saying this. So It's gonna be some women out here that just got that hyper masculine, superwoman attitude, and it could be stemming from childhood trauma because you didn't receive love and affection, and you not getting love and affection from a partner, and so you want to just overdo it with your kids. Let's just call it what it is. That's usually what it is, baby. Been there, done that. And I know my delivery is a little bit spicy right now, but it is what it is. We we got to put ourselves first. If we are depleted and tired, how can we be the best mamas? Because I'm gonna tell you, the same mamas who doing all this pouring into their kids be the main ones snapping at their kids because they being passive aggressive for now having boundaries. It be the same mamas who we see on the internet doing everything with their kids, buying their kids everything, be the main ones behind closed doors snapping at their kids because they tired, but they feeling mom guilt, and they don't know how to compartmentalize that. They don't know how to deal with it because they don't want to, because they feel like saying no a few times is triggering them from their, it's reminding them of what they went through as a child. But you got to understand that you've already beat those generational curses. You're already better than what you've been through. You're already a better parent. You you're already doing more. So you don't have to overcompensate. You're overcompensating for what you was lacking as a child. And so I'm telling you this because I ultimately created a monster with my son. It's just now been years where things are better, where my child is not expecting or disappointed because he don't get certain things. He know now. But I'm telling you, it was hard to break him from that because I had my baby boy spoiled. Okay? So put up those boundaries and say no. Another thing, like I've been saying throughout this video, pour into yourself. Pour into yourself. We got some kids out here, some parents out here who want to buy their kid every pair of new Jordan to come out. Every pair. Because this is something that they did when they was in school. They had every pair of Jordans. So it's like this cycle of, I want my child to be fresh, my child to be fresh. I want them to have every pair of Jordan like I did. That was me. I was that parent. I had all the Jordans and Air Force Ones, Air Max in high school. And it's like, it was just, and his dad did too. So it was just in us to do that for our son. Mind you, though, the difference was we was teenage parents. Okay, we were teenage parents. So you got some parents who do it because it's like they want their kids to be fresh and they want to keep up their reputation. Then you have some parents who do it because they didn't have it and they got teased. Because they were Shaqs. You know, the little Shaq shoes, they were Shaq shoes and unnamed brand shoes, and they got made fun of. And so now they are overcompensating for their pain. And I never truly understood when I used to see those posts like 10 years ago when they say instead of investing in, well, it's not even investment, instead of buying your children all of these shoes and Christmas gifts, invest in a trip, invest in the stock markets, invest in the IUL, things of that nature. I I didn't understand it fully back then, but oh my God, for the last few years, I totally understand it. If we're going to invest in something, let's invest in wealth and let's invest in experiences. Those toys and shoes and clothes, it brings no value. All it does is it feeds your ego. Now, I'm not saying, because I'm not going to send my child to school with no, you know, I don't want him. I do want my children to have nice stuff, name brand stuff. Like I do. I want that. But I'm talking about every weekend or twice a month buying all the Jordans. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying not go out here and buy your kids no shoes. The only Christmas gift my son got this past Christmas was a pair of Timberlands. That's it. That's it. And it's been like that way for the last few years. We get one or two gifts. And because he's older, it's probably one gift. Okay? So we need to stop this thing where we are overcompensating because of our trauma. That's all I'm trying to say. It doesn't mean not to get your kids nice stuff, because nobody wants the kid to get teased. Okay? But if you are doing it, I would say definitely invest in some type of um Bitcoin, um IUL, something in stocks, something like that. Open your child a high yield savings account, purchase them a coding class, something like that. I would say that, because we need to be teaching generational wealth too. And I wish I would have known these things when I was a young mother. I wish I would have known these things. But now that I know it, I have definitely been implementing these things. Another point, and then I have one more, is do something for yourself. Do something for you. Your say for instance, your child got everything they need, right? And they asking you for the new joints that came out, but you desperately need a massage. Say no. Go get your massage. You are not a bad parent for that. Because like I said previously, being passive aggressive as a parent is very common. And a lot of times we go off on our kids because we're giving them something that we should have, and we seeing that they're not appreciating it, and so we go off because they're not appreciating it, and we like, dang, I didn't get you these shoes, but you got an attitude about doing the chores, or you're not taking care of the shoes, or whatever it is. And so we go off on them because it's like, that's money I could have spent on myself. So do something for yourself, mama. You deserve it. Do something for yourself. Say no, set those boundaries. You are not a bad mama for that. And the last thing I want to talk about briefly is mom guilt. Think about where mom guilt is coming from. Mom guilt sometimes comes from competition. It comes from childhood trauma. It comes from and sometimes it's a natural response that we have as moms, where we don't want to fail as a mama. Okay? So how to know you a good mama is if you are investing quality time with your children. You are teaching them life skills, life lessons. You're having heart to heart conversations with them. You are supportive in their hobbies and activities, whether it's sports, whether it's um, music, dance. Also have to know you're a good parent. You're present with your children. You are allowing them to talk to you. You are, of course, providing financially, making sure that they have food, that you're giving your kids hugs, random hugs and kisses. You're pouring into your kids. You're affirming them. You're telling them you love them. When you doing all this, and there's some other stuff I ain't named, but when you are doing this type of stuff, you ain't gonna feel no mom guilt, because you know that you are being a good mom. Now, ask yourself, when was the last time you did these things? Because I promise you, you won't feel guilty about saying no when you do. Okay? I really hope that this helps someone. I really do. Okay? Bye.